Good morning, ladies. I want to welcome you to this session called ICT 101, the Quick Girls Guide. I'm your presenter, Zina Dean. So let's get started as to what we're going to go over today. So what are you going to learn in today's session? Why does ICT matter? The second thing we're going to look at is ICT stats that affect you. Next, we're going to look at the importance of gender diversity in ICT in the workplace. After that, we're going to look at how ICT experts can help in current world challenges. After that, we're going to look at future trends in ICT, and then I'm going to give you some advice on your next steps and what you can do to be a tech leader in this field. So let's look at our first point. Why does ICT matter? First of all, let's look at what ICT is. ICT is basically the marrying of computing and communication technology tools to produce the info you need to solve a real-world problem. ICT tools provide a global platform for deeper collaboration among people, effective problem-solving, and real-time communication. These stats show the number of women employed in select computing jobs, and this was compiled by the National Center for Women and Information Technology in the United States. So this is a recent stat, 2020. So if you look at all of the different computing jobs that are listed here, it still doesn't reach 50%. So women don't even take up 50% of all of the jobs in the digital economy. So why does gender diversity in ICT matter for women in the workplace? Here's an alarming statistic. The quit rate, or the rate by which women quit a job in technology-related fields, is 56%. And this far surpasses the science field, which is 47%, and the engineering field, which is 39%. So what are some reasons why women leave tech jobs? So see, these are some of the major reasons. Bias on the job. Isolation in the workplace. So a lot of women feel alone in their pursuit for technology-driven goals and ideas. The promotion process may be flawed for women in the workplace. Also, supervisory relationships may not be as strong as they would be between a man and a female or a man and a man. Let's go to the next slide. So in most companies that really are pursuing gender diversity, here's what you're going to find when a woman or females are employed. Improves workplace performance. Companies hire better talent. Next, companies perform better financially because a lot of women have an eye for detail, and most women keep to budgets when we talk about pursuing or completing technology-based projects. You have improved team dynamics because women bring a sense of empathy and a more well-rounded or holistic approach to looking at ideas. Next, you have greater worker retention because females feel secure in a job and they want to do their best to make the company happy and also to push the company to the next level as well. Let's go to the next slide. How can leading ICT experts assist in overcoming world challenges? So we're going to look at some current world challenges and how ICT is actually helping, or what ICT can do to assist in overcoming these challenges. So let's look at some current challenges facing our world. The first one relates to the coronavirus, which everyone in the world is being affected by. So the development of software and hardware for medical research is so important. As it stands now, a lot of research is happening and a lot of software development is happening in terms of open source applications, which have been developed to track the spread of the coronavirus and also to find out what global supplies are needed by a country. The next thing are apps are being developed for self-diagnosis, especially for patients who may not be able to physically go into the hospital and they don't want to pass on the disease to anybody else. Next, 3D printers are being used to print respirator prototypes. So this is being tested out on pigs, quite coincidentally, in Spain. Let's look at the next current world challenge, which is data privacy. Because more persons are now at home and people are on the internet frequently, customers want to know that their data collected, which is sensitive data, is safe. So there's a new need now for data security scientists. So that's a new part of ICT that has developed, a new field in ICT. Employee information training, information security training on the whole through security software. The next current challenge is with online payment solutions. Persons are not able to sometimes leave their homes. Countries may be on curfews or on different lockdowns. So the development of online payment solutions is a current world challenge. People may not necessarily have access to money, however, they have access to their bank accounts and they can go on different websites and use their credit cards or use some form of cryptocurrency in order for them to pay a bill or to make some exchange for the product or service that they would like. The next thing is online learning and work solutions. So this is now a challenge because you have more and more schools who have had to shut down because of the coronavirus, and now they've had to revert to finding online learning solutions for the students and teachers to be able to use. Workplace solutions have also come to the forefront, especially for those workplaces where face-to-face contact was a little bit more important than online contact. And lastly, technology equity. When we refer to technology equity, we mean that everyone all over the world has access to software, hardware, and more specifically, the internet. This is still a global issue because all over the world, the access is different, and this can be based on government regulations, monies, and just basically resources. Let's go to the next slide. Let's look at some future world trends that ICT is going to play a heavy impact in. So, national and global technology disaster planning strategies. Once the coronavirus has kind of died down, we are going to have to collaborate worldwide in order for us to put together strategic plans in order to help with medical technologies and to help with ways in which we combat different viruses globally. So there's going to be a need for the development of more online collaboration software, the collection of real-time data, and report gathering to be done instantaneously. Next, hyperautomation. Hyperautomation basically refers to robotic process automation, and this is going to be empowered by artificial intelligence. So this means that robots can be used, or this type of software can be used to complete different processes that a human may have taken a lot of time to do. It can actually be split in half or by a quarter just for efficiency and for better intelligence. The next challenge is going to be practical blockchain. So we've heard a lot in the news about cryptocurrencies, about blockchain technology as well. So this is going to be a future trend because people want to be able to use more types of payment methods. All right, so practical blockchain will allow reshaping of the payment industry, especially online. It's going to provide for more transparency within transactions, and it's going to reduce transaction settling times. So a lot of the time that you would have taken to either pay for something online, where you have to fill out all of your personal data and then put in your credit card information, all of that is also going to be cut down. The next future world challenge is going to be multi-experience solutions. People are going to be at home now. Even in this coronavirus pandemic, we are at home. So a lot of things have to happen at home. So when we talk about multi-experience solutions, this is a mix of augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality. So people want to be able to experience certain things, smells, 3D dimensional images, sensing technologies all at once. So this is going to have to develop in order for technology to kind of like advance. The next world challenge is human augmentation. Now, we've seen a lot of development in terms of smart technology, wearable technology. So human augmentation refers to this. There's a lot of advancement or a lot of research being done now in terms of how wearables can be used to improve worker safety. And one example of this would be with 3D printing now. So a lot of nurses, doctors have been able to use 3D masks, face masks, to help them with protecting themselves during the coronavirus pandemic. So the last thing is technology democratization. So I spoke about technology equity in the previous slide. So this kind of relates to it, but it is the process of people having access to technology rapidly. So things that might have taken a million years to learn will not, because of access to open course resources, open software solutions, things of that nature. So let's look at you. What can you do? Software and hardware engineering. Being able to program, being able to code is going to be of utmost importance. You need to know how a program is going to work. So learning certain programming languages, especially web-based ones, Java, Python, Swift for mobile app development is going to serve to your advantage. Hardware engineering, the development of different hardware technologies is going to also be of advantage to you as well. Wearable technologies, I spoke about that as well. People are looking for smart devices, devices that can positively impact or solve a problem. Next, systems project development. Being versed in how to create a project, looking out for needs that the technology can solve is very important. So knowing about how to identify needs and knowing about what hardware and software needs that problem can solve is also of great importance. Next, website design. As we are moving towards using the internet more and more companies will have an online presence. So being able to design an effective website where people can find out more information about the company, where they can interact with their social media platforms, where they can also pay for different products and services is also going to be to your advantage if you learn that skill. Augmented and virtual reality. People are looking for more immersive experiences. People are looking for engagement as well. So being able to design augmented and virtual reality or even mixed reality platforms or mixed reality apps is also going to be of importance. And lastly, information security. People want to know that their information is secure. Companies also need to know what they have to look for and what they need to put in place to ensure that company data is also secure. So information security is a strong skill that you can master in this age. So how can you lead through ICT? So here are my takeaways for you. So some things that I would like for you to work on. You need to be a good communicator. You need to be able to know how to speak, how to write effectively. People, or I should say companies, are looking for employees that can quickly and easily put together ideas into something that people can easily understand. So being a good communicator is important. Next, be a strategist. Now, because of all the pandemics that are happening inside the world, people are looking for, or I should say companies are looking to employ persons who are able to create strategy, who are able to put teams together and to develop ideas and be able to know how to implement them effectively and quickly. Next, be a collaborator. You need to know how to collaborate with others who are also in your field or who even may be outside of your field who can help you to grow in this particular area. You can't just grow by yourself. So being able to chime or to piggyback off of another woman or another female in technology who may even be smarter than you or more versed than you in an area of interest is important. So don't be afraid to collaborate with those who may be a bit smarter than you because it serves to your advantage. Next, become a technical expert in 1 to 2 tech passion areas. Don't try to learn everything there is about technology. You're not going to be an expert in every area. However, you need to also look at what areas in technology actually fuel your fire. So you need to be able to put your life's work into that area so you can become an expert in that area. So reading, following leaders in those areas on social media platforms, going to workshops, going to global seminars, all of these things help to make you an expert in your area. Being able to share your passion as well on multiple platforms also helps to make you an expert. Next, embrace mentorship. Find a lady, or it can even be a man, all right, who you respect in your area of interest. Ask to be mentored by them. Look for part-time employment opportunities that may allow you to get mentorship from someone who is well-versed in the technology field, or especially the area that you're interested in. Mentorship is important, and especially for technology advice, but also for workplace advice, also for life lessons. So this is how you were able to learn and you were able to also gain what you need to gain from others who have been there already and who have made the mistakes, and they're able to kind of like show you certain ways or certain avenues that you can pursue so you don't make the same mistakes. Next, follow the experts. And I think I mentioned this before. Learn about people who are in technology who are making an impact. Follow them on different social media platforms. So follow the experts, follow them on YouTube, follow them on the platform that they most frequent. And lastly, share your passion. So it's important that you use your platform for good. Use your technology knowledge for good. So on your social media platforms, post videos or post quotes or post pictures, whatever it is, about things that you find interesting in technology. So again, here's how you can keep in touch with me. You can follow me on Instagram, you can follow me on Twitter. Like I said, I'm also on TikTok and Facebook. So you can always send me a DM if you have a burning question. You can send me an email message. I would love to hear from you. So again, I want you to be able to share a social media post or create a social media post about your takeaway from today. And I'm going to be back on with the other panelists at 1 o'clock. So make sure you're on at 1 o'clock. And if you have any questions that you would like to ask me or any of the other panelists, we're going to be happy to answer them for you. So that was ICT 101, the Quick Girls Guide.
At the very core of who we are and what we do is a need to be a pillar of strength and support for the Bahamian community. From inception, our concern for the well-being and forward movement of this nation has far surpassed our duties as a telecommunications provider, but it can be felt all through the Bahamas. Alive has invested some $3.2 million into the community, reached over 275,000 Bahamians, and sponsored over 1,200 events. The Alive touch has been felt in times of want and certainly in times of need. We understand our role. We understand our reach. We stand by our people, bounded by the belief that we are each other's keeper, that through the storms, through the challenges, better days are coming, and that we will continue to support you, our valued customer. Alive, we got you.
Hi folks, I'm Rissy Demerit and I am so excited to be speaking to you all about the world of netiquette. Yes, you heard me right, netiquette. Actually, when my mother saw me working on this presentation, she told me that I spelled it wrong and she couldn't believe she spent all this money for me to go to college to be talking about netiquette. What is that? She actually might be right. But after I explained it to her, she totally got it, and I know you will too. This is also very new and cool to me to be presenting virtually. I'm not really worried about my joke landing because I crack myself up, but feel free to laugh because sometimes I'm a little funny. But I promise you, I'm not really weird. My name is definitely pronounced Rissy and not the very deceitful Rissy as it's spelled. My ultimate favorite thing about my name, besides it being highly unique and there's only one me, is that autocorrect is tissue. And I swear that is also very hilarious to me. But if you take a look at this slide, you'd see that I spent some time in the social media business world. I was one of 3 awesome Bahamians that built the social media brand pages for Sandals Resorts and its sister resorts, beaches. It's actually a really cool fact. It now sits beautifully at over 1 million followers, and throughout the world, it is used as the ideal model for social media growth and digital customer service. I'm kind of proud. I was formerly their social media manager, and now I sit as senior manager for domestic communications at the Bahamas Ministry of Tourism. And that basically means I'm responsible for all domestic public relations, girl, I had Diet Coke earlier, and all of our Tourism Today assets. And that's from TV to social media. This is a shameless plug. Please follow us. Hook your girl up. So social media is a huge part of our lives, especially me, seeing that I work in it every day. And for that reason alone, it's important for us to clearly define what social media is, who's using it, examples of the platform, and how to properly utilize that. So let's jump into it. What is social media? So the online dictionary Merriam-Webster defines social media as forms of electronic communication, such as websites for social networking and microblogging, through which users create online communities to share ideas, personal messages, and other content, including videos. It's actually pretty cool. It's so important for you guys to understand that 45% of the world's population uses social media. If you're not using it, we're leaving you behind. And 70% of social media users are female. Girl power. But if you want to know who uses social media as a whole, it's the younger generation, such as Generation Zers. Can you say that? Zers, millennials, and Generation Xers. And we use it a lot more frequently than baby boomers, but this is not the case for every social media channel. So if you take a look at the next slide, you'll see a couple of examples of social media platforms that I love, I'm sure you love, and our Grammy and things like them too. Like a whole lot of us use social media platforms. So literally everybody in a Grammy uses social media. These are the top 4 most popular social media networking sites according to this really cool website that I utilize called dreamgrow.com. And these numbers are based on monthly active users, or what you see on that slide as MAUs. And is anybody else besides me shocked to see what's up there with 1.5 billion users? Hello, billion. And that makes so much sense because Facebook bought the platform and it's taken off completely from there. So if you thought WhatsApp was just WhatsApp or what's up, as our mummies call it, what's up? If you thought that was a Bahamian or a Caribbean thing only, it's not, it's gone completely global. So let's just jump right into it and define what netiquette is and how to properly utilize it. So netiquette is defined as the importance of manners, proper manners, and behaviors online. In general, netiquette is the set of professional and social etiquettes practiced and advocated in electronic communication over a computer network, any computer network. Short form, netiquette is network etiquette or internet etiquette. And I got that from Techopedia. They're actually a valid site. You should check them out. I've done a ton of research on what best practices are for social media, and some are very limited to specific accounts, and some just made absolutely no sense to me. So if I don't understand it, I can't explain it to anybody else. But I've come up with 5 amazing rules that are applicable across all platforms and really harp on the human side of social media, or the social side of social media, however you want to put it together. Numero uno, be real, but be mindful of what you share. Someone somewhere is offended, and that's a fact. You can post that you prefer a live to BTC, or that you are PLPRFNM, or you could even share something from Cindy Patrice Jackson on your feed because you thought it's absolutely hilarious. And I get it, I totally get it. It's your personal opinion, it's your Facebook page, it's your Twitter account. By all means, go for gold. But somebody actually got really mad about that. They done screenshot it and sent it to everybody. The reality is people have lost jobs, people have lost friends over some post that was absolutely mindless and resonated with you only. There's always the argument that you have free speech on your personal platform, but just a friendly reminder that social media is actually social. So even though you have a personal account, you're a part of a larger community and you have to exercise responsibility. So imagine you go out to a club or a party and there's that one person that keeps bumping into you, and more than likely they are actually just misstepping and it's really an accident. They're not even thinking about it, but it comes off as something completely different to you. And social media kind of operates the same way. You want that person to be mindful of what they're doing, especially since it's annoying you. Social media operates the same way again, except it's online. So let that marinate for a bit. Rule number 2, remember the human. I thought about this one a lot and how it differs from rule number 1. But rule number 1 was really about being responsible for yourself. This one has more to do with taking others into consideration. So imagine you posted a pic of you and your friend, and you look great, but your friend out there looking real crazy. You're not taking consideration the possible effects of that horrible photo. And this is somebody who's speaking from experience, because many a times I have gotten into arguments with my friends because I look busted on social media. The concept is simple because it's the basic human rule. Do unto others as you want them to do unto you. Oh my gosh, this particular rule is serious. Your behavior in life should reflect your behavior online. You can actually go to jail. People, let's take this in. You can actually go to jail for reckless posts. And as of late, on social media, you've seen that happen. It is amazing that people treat social media so informally, but cyber laws are actually in place and being exercised. It can leave a horrible digital stain on your personal profile. Plus, people are always online beating up gums. I don't even know if that's a term. People still say that. If you're not going to say it to someone from the onset in their face, or it's not what you really feel, why even bother putting it online? It's important as people that we understand that we don't have to devalue each other to get some kind of social media clout. It doesn't contribute to your digital footprint, and it doesn't add substance to who you are as a person, and in this forum, as women. Rule number 4, beware of oversharing. Listen, we all have those friends that share way too much on social media. We know way too much about their man. We know way too much about their relationship. We don't see that breakup, makeup. This girl had something to say. It's so much. Even a perfect example of that is Cindy Patrice Jackson. I hope I don't get sued for mentioning that name several times. If you cannot resist the urge to share, which is fine, do so sparingly and in the most vague, unspecific terms possible for the sake of everybody involved, or your friends that just really aren't interested or just absolutely tired of hearing about the problems that you have in your life. Whatever you post on the internet, it is forever. You may think you hit delete, but that content is sitting somewhere in cyberspace, and there are people that will do anything to get to that. Don't post anything that you may regret in the future. It can affect you in so many different ways. Possible job opportunities for those that are getting ready to graduate. It could even hurt some of your friends' feelings. Just remember that whether it was written yesterday or 5 years ago, it's still in the cloud. And let's go to rule number 5. And this one really brings it all home. Everyone will have something to say about anything, everything, whether it's your haters or your friends, your mommy or your uncle. You are subject to somebody's personal opinion once you put your own opinion out there. If you're committed to an argument on social media, in most situations, you have a lot of time on your hands. Do you ever think that? You're looking at an argument, a whole thread on social, you're like, what are you all doing? Recognize that people have their own opinions. It's not your place to take them on unless you're an expert. And then, well, that's something completely different. So those are my 5 golden rules. They don't apply just to social media. They apply to life. I know I apply them, or at least I do my best. I'm only human. I hope you guys learned something very valuable and willing to practice what you learned. This was an amazing experience. Before you guys go, please follow me on social media. Your girl is on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And I've listed all of my accounts here for you. Don't forget to join us at 1 p.m. for the live panel session. Have your questions ready, and I'm going to be joining the rest of the amazing speakers, and we look forward to interacting with you guys.
Hi, I'm Olga Roussos. I chose STEM because I had a teacher who embodied excellence in all areas outlining STEM. Under his tutelage, I developed a love for mathematics and science. He inspired me to use my knowledge of STEM to become an entrepreneur and meaningful contributor to the world. It is my hope to use my future career to create a school for young Bahamian women who would like a more STEM-versed education. This institution would feature state-of-the-art laboratories and IT units, as well as engineering facilities and mathematical courses. STEM can be utilized in any field that a student decides to pursue. It provides so many transferable skills and creates well-rounded individuals.
Thank you, Brianna. And now we go to the Bahamas. Olga Roussos.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am here today to address issues impacting women in agriculture and provide innovative solutions to their problems. My name is Olga Roussos, and for the purpose of this presentation, I will focus on Cat Island, Bahamas, a small rural island where I spent my early childhood. Not long ago, a few ambitious women in that community were beneficiaries of a small government grant. Their intention was to pool their resources and create an agricultural model through the transformative power of a co-op. They faced serious challenges like low marketability of crops, insufficient irrigation, and low yield. This exposed a critically flawed agriculture system. So how do we solve these problems? Firstly, through the use of blockchain and Internet of Things, the origin, ripeness, and yield of crops could be easily verified. Smart contracts could be implemented to facilitate ease of business, and transactions could be made transparent by automating payments via escrow and keeping a transparent ledger. Sensors could be used to track seed counts at a local seed bank and regulate water usage based on environmental factors. Form follows function. By designing buildings with function in mind, many limitations could be circumvented. Cat Island's cooling sea breezes can be harnessed by special architecture and wind tunnels, while sustainable materials like red bricks could keep buildings warm in winter and cool in summer. Solar energy could be properly managed with smart buildings by gauging the power supply and controlling lights by sensors, while transparent ceilings and walls could transmit natural sunlight. Some women in agriculture express lack in the areas of finance and technical proficiency. This is a golden opportunity to educate a new generation in the areas of STEM and agriculture. With the move towards digitization in agriculture, it would pay to create a digital forum where women could collaborate on farming methods and raise funds via initial coin offerings. In conclusion, if Bahamian women embrace STEM, we will establish the country as a thriving economic hub, deeply rooted in the revolution of its agricultural system. Thank you very much.
has created a COVID-19 relief program for customers who are diagnosed with COVID-19, customers who are in COVID-19 related quarantine, and customers who have been laid off because of COVID-19. For these customers, we are deferring payments for 3 months beginning April 1st. For each of the 3 categories, the account must be in the applicant's name, and the account number and national insurance number must be provided, along with proof of diagnosis, proof of mandated quarantine, or proof of layoff. BPL has created a fillable form that customers can use to apply for the program. That form is available on BPL's Facebook page at MyBPL242, on Twitter at MyBPLBahamas, and on the BPL website at www.bplco.com/COVID-19relief. For complete qualification and registration information, or for other questions regarding the COVID-19 relief program, customers are asked to please email covid19@bplco.com.
My name is Allison Middleton. I work at Central Bank of the Bahamas. I am the media and public relations specialist there, but I have been in the IT field previously for more than 20 years. And today I'm going to speak to you about Sand Dollar. You may have heard a bit about it. What Project Sand Dollar is, in its most simple term, is an electronic representation of the Bahamian dollar. So rather than having to go to the bank and take out paper money, or your parents having to give you paper money for a lunch, or if you have to pay for a fee, what you can do by using your mobile phone is pay for it with just a swipe. So some of the key features of Sand Dollar are interoperability, meaning that regardless of what mobile technology you're using, whether or mobile wallets you're using, whether that's through your bank, Scotiabank, Royal Bank, CIBC, etc., or through what we call a money transfer business. Some of them are SunCash, Omni, Cash and Go, etc. You can transfer funds between them without any difficulty. Another key feature of Sand Dollar is, and one that we are very excited about, is the ability to operate offline. So if you don't have data, well, we know technology does have its challenges in the Bahamas or any archipelago. So data goes down, or as I said, you don't have data, you're still able to transact in Sand Dollar. Just as if there was no data, you would still be able to spend cash. One of the biggest misnomers about Sand Dollar is that it is a cryptocurrency, and it is not. Sand Dollar is fully backed by the Central Bank of the Bahamas, and it is launched by the Central Bank. There is privacy, but the transactions are all encrypted. So no, we're not watching and monitoring what you spend your money on. But in the event that there was some crime committed, and if the authorities go through the correct channels, they will be able to unencrypt some of that data to help them for their in their police reports. So how Sand Dollar would work is mobile based. There's also a backup card, but we have found that most of the Bahamas has mobile phones, and so it's just a QR code, and once you scan the QR code, put in how much money you want to send, you can do that. You can also text money to someone. So if you've forgotten your lunch money and your parents need to send you something, they don't have to drive to school to do that. You don't have to borrow it from your friends. You can contact your parents, and they can just text you the money that you need. And so we're very excited about Sand Dollar and the prospects and what it can do for improving efficiency and the ease of doing business in the country. And so please join us for the live panel at 1 p.m. where we will be answering all of your questions. Hope to see you there.
Hi, my name is Alea Adjigal, and I am a woman in tech. I am a 21-year-old actress, activist, model, and aspiring geneticist and stem cell research scientist with over a decade of experience in the entertainment industry. I'm also an avid polyglot with 5 languages under my belt thus far, and I am the youngest member of both James Catlin and Friends, the oldest acting troupe in the country, and Global Shapers, the Nassau hub for the World Economic Forum. In addition to being a regular panelist on the shows Chrissy Love Live, The Conversation with Shanique Miller, Real Talk Live, and of course, The Revolution with Juan McCartney, my words have also been featured on Business Insider, The Washington Post, CNN, Al Jazeera, and The Tribune. A goal of mine has always been to uplift young girls, and of course, after I pursue my goal of achieving a PhD in biochemistry and genetics, I would love to be a philanthropist for young girls and help them pursue their dreams in both the arts and the sciences. And if anything, reach out to me. I love helping young women like myself. And I want to see you pursue your goals and achieve your dreams. You can do anything you put your mind to because you are just that good.
Good morning. My name is Demetria McKinney, and I am the Information Security Officer at the Central Bank of the Bahamas. I am so happy and excited to be talking to you this morning. I particularly love to have the opportunity to speak with young professionals and students because I like to share my story as well as help anyone really join the space of cybersecurity. I like to tell people that I'm passionate about cybersecurity. But more importantly, I'm passionate about cybersecurity awareness and making sure that I can leave with you nuggets and tips to help you grow in your career and just be overall more secure. Today, I'll be speaking to you about building cybersecurity capacity. But more importantly, I'm going to talk about how you students can build capacity in yourselves. How can you be a national resource in a time where we don't have enough capacity? So what is cybersecurity capacity, or what is cybersecurity capacity building? I have a definition here on the slide, but really I'm going to break that down to you. It's building knowledge, building resources, and this comes through tools, policies, concept guidelines, strategy and risk management approach, training and best practices, making sure that we have cybersecurity training in your curriculum, in your schools. Also, job creation. It's making sure that we can address and we have readiness for any type of cybersecurity events that may impact our organizations as well as our country. So what I want for you to do for me, students, is I want you to answer 2 questions, and I want you to think about it. One, I want you to think about whether or not you can be a resource to the country. And I also want you to answer the question is, have you ever considered cybersecurity, information security, IT security, or any level of cyber competency as a possible career? And if the answer, I want you to hold on to your answer, and we will talk about those answers at 1 p.m. during our Q&A time. Why is cybersecurity capacity so important to us as not only a community, but also as a country? I want to let you know that no country can mature in an IT space without building proper capacity and not having the resources that's needed. And this is important for you to know, students, because you are the resources that we need. It is you who we're trying to build so that we won't have to outsource so many of our jobs, our contracts, that we can realize our fullest potential through you. So no country will be able to achieve its goals in IT, in cybersecurity, and any of the major risk factors or careers without having strong capacity building. Cybersecurity capacity building is the key for addressing high-level risk. And when I talk about high-level risk, I'm talking about your breaches, your malware, your phishing attempts, those that can impact a full organization, that can impact the country. Every IT position, and I know I'm talking a lot about cybersecurity and building capacity in cybersecurity, but this is not far removed from IT positions. Every IT position is also a cybersecurity position. I want you to let that digest it for a minute. In that, if you're in IT as an IT administrator or systems administrator, part of your job is to have a cybersecurity awareness and training. You have to secure your network as best as you can. If you are a nurse, cybersecurity awareness is a part of your job. If you're a teacher, cybersecurity awareness is a part of your job. But let's go, if you're a student, cybersecurity is a part of your job. And it's important for us to understand why this awareness and this capacity building is so needed in our country. Now, there are 5 main stages to building cybersecurity capacity. And if you're looking at the slide here, I have decided, this is my opinion, I'm of the opinion that we're somewhere between startup and formative. So startup is that we have no cybersecurity maturity. Now, I don't believe that. By the sheer nature that I am here speaking to you, we do have some maturity. And of course, formative is we're treating cybersecurity and its capacity as ad hoc. Sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't, right? And so really, I want us to look at how we can get to establish. That's the goal. And how do we do that? How do we become established with our capacity building? It requires us teaching you and growing you, grooming you, so that you then you fill these roles as CIOs and cybersecurity managers and security architects and IT managers and systems administrators. You are the people that we need. And this can only be done if we do this from the top down, but you have a responsibility. And the reason I'm here today is to talk a little bit about what you can do. So what do you want to do? So let's talk about what's in this space. How do we get the nation to realize that building this capacity is so important? So we first need to have a national strategy. That's not your job, but it needs to happen. We need to have a national strategy. We need to be able to say to our leaders, hey, we have students and this needs to be a part of their curriculum. This awareness, this training needs to be there. I also need you to know that cybersecurity careers exist, that there's so many careers out there that you can explore. And we'll get into that in a further slide. Secondly, we need to integrate different communities of professionals and cross-sector industries. So meaning, I know lots of times when you think about IT people, you see them as someone in the server room way back, or someone who's very technical, and you always see them as someone who you call to fix your computer. I've had lots of conversations. But we need to change that branding of IT professionals or cybersecurity professionals and make policies and procedures that will affect all of you. Also, we need to make sure that our efforts are sustainable, in that we are not just building capacity for our generation, but we're building capacity for the generation behind us, and then the generation behind those people, and on and on and on. Because this is what we need to be able to have a developed cybersecurity capacity in our nation. And lastly, We need to develop comprehensive policies and investment strategies to tackle complex cybersecurity issues. So what does that mean? We certainly need a national cert. And who will be in the national cert? Who will support this? This will be you. People from colleges, people from every sector in the country need to be in support of securing our information assets. What are the benefits of having this cybersecurity capacity strategy? We need to be able to make sure that our vision for this is clear. So you understand, you as students understand what the government or our professional bodies have in place. What's the vision? What is the objective? Why do we need, why are we implementing cybersecurity capacity building? Who are the stakeholders? Who do we need to tackle and how? So I'll tell you who are the stakeholders. From kindergarten straight up to college student and beyond, we are all stakeholders in this. Even I, in my role, I'm still building capacity. As a hiring manager, I can tell you when looking to hire professionals, the hiring pool is very small, meaning that I would love to hire more people, but we don't have the skilled labor out there. And that's something that needs to change. And then also, we need to create a step-by-step program that you can follow so that it can take you to the appropriate career path. So the 5 dimensions of cybersecurity capacity building. I'm not going to look at, if you're following me on the screen, I'm not going to focus on policy and strategies because we spoke about that a little bit, or the cultural and society or standards and on those things. I'm really going to focus to you on D3, cybersecurity education, training, and skills building. So let's talk about cybersecurity gaps. These numbers I'm going to give you are global numbers. They were taken from surveys and reputable organizations. So I'll have you know that we have currently today over 1.5 million available jobs in cybersecurity. And I'm going to bring that number closer to home for us because I mentioned earlier as a hiring professional that I found it difficult to fill positions for information security analysts. So then I know, and I also have other colleagues who, when we're discussing and we're communicating, we're realizing that it's harder for us to find the skilled labor here in the Bahamas. That has to change. We have to create avenues for you to be able to fill these jobs. By 2020, we're expected to have globally 1.8 million vacant cybersecurity jobs. That's a major gap that needs to be filled. And it also lets you know that the world is your playground. There's so many things you can do in cybersecurity, and we'll get to that. Without sufficient cybersecurity resources or capacity, we are more vulnerable to cybersecurity breaches. Meaning, if we don't have skilled labor to help mitigate these risks, then we're more vulnerable to having cyber attacks. So let's talk about jobs in cybersecurity. So I already mentioned that there's a huge gap, but I want you to know the types of jobs that you can have in cybersecurity. I'll start with Chief Information Security Officer. That's my title. And it's a really good job. I want to encourage you when you think about capacity and you think about jobs to broaden your mind from just thinking the traditional jobs. Now, mind you, you're entitled to be whatever you want to be, and I'm sure you can do just that. But I want to expose you a little bit to all the amazing job types in cybersecurity. So quickly, I'll run through this list. There's the Information Security Officer, and that's someone who builds information security program. There's the Security Engineer. You have a Security Architect. You have a cybersecurity analyst, and this can look like a variety of things: network security, application security. You have a vulnerability analyst, software developer, you have pen testing. But even though these jobs are top cybersecurity jobs, what I want to explain to you is that you can almost do these jobs in every sector. So how do we do business? We surely aren't writing it down on paper. So anywhere where there's digitalization, cybersecurity must exist. So if you're a police officer, you can be in cyber crimes. If you work in a hospital, you can work as a cybersecurity professional. If you're a teacher, like I mentioned before, you can be a cybersecurity researcher, you can certainly be a consultant, you can be a lecturer. The number of things that you can do in cybersecurity is vast. So anytime you're thinking, if you want to be an accountant, you can be a cybersecurity auditor. And I get excited about this because I want to expose you to all of the possibilities that you can be. And I want to let you know that we need you in almost every one of those roles. So when we ask the industry about what are the types of risks as a result of not having enough capacity, we found out that 23% said they have significant shortage in cybersecurity. And I'm drilling this down because if I were to do this survey in the Bahamas, I can tell you that most times you will go to your doctor's office and there's no one who handles cybersecurity. Have you ever asked yourself whatever happens to your information when you share it with your doctor, or when you go to the lab, or when you go to BTC? How is that information handled? And is there someone properly making sure that your information is secure? And then we have 40% that they said we have a slight shortage. So it shows, these numbers shows that globally, there are major gaps in skill set related to cybersecurity. Saying that I'm talking to a group of ladies, let's talk about women in cybersecurity. And this is really dear to me because I'm a woman in cybersecurity. So I mentioned to you that we have tons of jobs in cybersecurity. I went over that and I told you there's tons of jobs and we have a lot of gaps in cybersecurity. But what we're seeing is we're not seeing enough of us, enough women in ITC and specifically in cybersecurity. So in 2019, ISC Square did a global survey and found that only 24% are women. We have to change that. And building capacity, for me, isn't only about building the fullness of capacity. It's also about building diversity and making sure that we have more women in the space. And I need you to do a few things for me, girls. So I want you to do, the first thing I want you to do is first believe that you can be in this space. I know lots of times we are encouraged in traditional roles, and that may not always be technical or look technical. But I want you to first believe that any job is possible, that you can be in this space. And then I want you to expose yourself to, as you're doing now by participating in this event, to what are the types of jobs that are available to me? What are the types of studying or educational opportunities are available for me in technology as a whole? And that's important that is the first step, and that's important, the first getting you into this space and having you in that pipeline to be a part of this number and to grow this number from 24% to 50%, because that's what we're aiming for. In a few years, I would like to see, and I say a few, I would like to see more than 24% women in this space. And that also means us taking on the charge ourselves, building these numbers so that we can improve overall capacity. Now, this has been an awesome experience speaking to all of you. And I hope I leave you with a few things to think about and really understand the skills gap we have in capacity. Only you can close this gap. I am hoping that I leave this with you and you're inspired to be a national resource. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hello to all of my sisters in STEM and to my social media mavens in the making. Hi, I'm Bodine, and today at 1 p.m. I'll be hosting the live panel for Girls in ICT Day, the Bahamas edition. Interact with all of our speakers in real time and get the answers to each and every one of your ICT questions. Chat with us in the Zoom chat or join us on our Facebook page, Girls in ICT Day 242, where we can interact there. Until then, see you soon. Keep it cute. Yes, darling.
of the Bahamas introduces Sand Dollar, the digital Bahamian dollar. Here's everything you need to know to begin using Sand Dollar today. When you get cash, you keep it safe in your wallet. Just like cash, Sand Dollar lives in a wallet too, a digital wallet. You can access your wallet using the Sand Dollar app or the Sand Dollar card. For this demonstration, we will use the generic Sand Dollar app. The look and feel of each Sand Dollar enabled app will vary based on the financial service provider. Getting started with the Sand Dollar app is simple. First, you'll need to enroll with any authorized financial institution. You can find a list on our website or social media pages. If you have a smartphone, first download the app from the Google Play or Apple Store, open the app and click Get Started. Follow the simple setup instructions, and off you go. There are 3 ways to send and receive Sand Dollars using the app. The first way to send Sand Dollars is to scan the recipient's QR code. Here's how to do it. Open the app, confirm your identity using the 4-digit code you made during setup, or using biometrics by scanning your face or fingerprint. Hit Send. You can now scan the recipient's printed or on-screen QR code. If your recipient is also using the app, make sure they hit the Receive button on their device. Enter the amount you want to send. Hit the Authenticate and Send button. Confirm your identity using biometrics or by re-entering your 4-digit device code, and you're set. Transaction complete. Hit Return to Wallet to see your updated balance and the transaction confirmation. The second way to send Sand Dollars using the app is to send to a wallet address. Every Sand Dollar wallet is assigned a unique 12-digit address. Think of it as an ID. Follow these steps to send to an address. Open the app, confirm your identity, hit Send, hit Send to Address. Enter how much you want to send. Enter the recipient's unique 12-digit address. Choose whether to show your custom name or not. Make sure all required information has been entered. Hit Authenticate and Send. Confirm your identity again, and you're done. Sand Dollars sent. You can also send using someone's custom name. Sending Sand Dollars to a custom name is easy. Simply follow the same steps as sending to an address. Open the app, confirm your identity, hit Send to Address. Enter how much you want to send. This time, instead of Send to Address, select Custom Name. Type the recipient's custom name. Choose to show your custom name or not. Hit Authenticate and Send. Confirm your identity, and you're done. Finally, if you don't have a smartphone, no problem. Our Sand Dollar card is all you need. Here's how to send from your card to a recipient who is using the app. The user with the Sand Dollar app must first hit Receive. Then select Scan Card. The recipient enters the transaction amount. The cardholder will then power on their Sand Dollar card, making sure the one-time password is visible. The app user scans the card, ensuring the QR code and password are both visible, the cardholder then confirms the transaction by entering their 6-digit PIN, and you're good to go. Sand Dollar is here to make life easier. It's flexible, easy to use, and for everyone. Contact us to learn more about Sand Dollar today.
So here I am. Hi. I'm Bodine Victoria, and today I'm just going by Bodine Johnson. I am an entertainer and actress, television host, now a YouTuber, teacher, and I sing sometimes. And I have a show called Bodine Pod. And so being in STEM, being in entertainment, being in information, communication, and technology is not anything that is absolutely strange to me. We ended up being forced into it. Hi, Liana. How you doing? So guys, welcome to my home and welcome to this field trip. We've had some amazing panelists already for the day. We're talking about people that are telling you how to practice social media netiquette. And of course, I'm also going to ask everybody to please, let's start our videos now, okay? Because I want to see you. I would like to see you. I'd like to engage with you. I'd like to interact with you. And of course, I would like for you all to do something for me, okay? When you leave here, I want you to have a screenshot of your Girls in ICT Day 242, your Zoom. And I want you to please go and post that to your social media and tag it Girls in ICT 242 so that we can find you on social media and we can share the gospel of girls doing amazing things. All right, now today on our panels we have all of our panelists from earlier today. All right, now I see my good friend Ms. Zena Hutchinson. She has, well, actually there has been a development. Ms. Zena Hutchinson Dean, hi girl, how you doing?
Hello, Dean. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
So glad to be here.
Yes, I know you are, girl. How's it like not being in the classroom, but still being in the classroom, teaching people through virtual means?
Say it again. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
What's it like for you actually having to be in a virtual classroom or a setting like this and having to teach people in that way?
Yeah, everything is okay. I have to keep a positive mindset. But since it's something I've been doing for a while, I think it was kind of like the natural thing for everyone around me to embrace.
Yeah.
Because I had the experience with using it. So I'm happy to see that more teachers, especially where I'm at, more of the teachers were able to embrace it. And, you know, it was almost like a forcing of us having to use the technology in order to keep instruction going, to keep connected with our students quickly and easily. So I'm happy to see the embracing of technology with everybody, especially our teachers.
You know what I love? I love the fact that I don't have to physically mark papers, put it in, and it's itself. All right, and now we have Miss Social Media Netiquette, Rise Demerit. Hi, girl. Hey.
Hi, what's up? Hi, everybody.
These are some fancy glasses.
Thank you.
Are they part of your branding?
They are now.
Oh, there we go. I love the entire look because we know with social media, you have a brand, you stick to it. I got some of your points earlier, and I know some of our persons that are in our chat are ready with some questions and answers, especially, you know, how not to get clocked when you did something out of the way.
I'm so ready, and I'm thrilled to be here, and thanks. I put this outfit together.
Yes.
Oh, want to be cute.
Yes, yes, let's be cute, and it matches, it coordinates. And now I want to say hello to Miss Allison, Miss Middleton with Project Sand Dollar.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. Guess what? I love the fact that I don't have to take cash out of my wallet anymore.
Exactly, isn't that perfect?
It is perfect, and I am secure because nobody's going to be stealing my money if they don't go through a few other exceptional challenges to get there.
And if they know that if they do, we can track ultimately every time that dollar moves.
See, there you go. And ladies, we want you to post your questions in the webinar chat because we are going to be answering them. But I want to talk to Zena just for a second and on an educational front, simply because a lot of my colleagues, this ain't the dancing, singing, you know. A lot of
With
my
your teacher hat.
Right. The only thing I don't have on right now is my sleeves, but I'm dressed.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. But as an educator, a lot of us were literally pushed off of the cliff and had to figure things out very quickly. What do you see as the way forward in information technology for our teachers in either system, private as well as public? The simplest way to get things done.
The simplest way. That's a good question, Bodine. I think with teachers, ongoing training is important for you as an educator. You need to look at where your skills are, what your skill set is. But I think, first of all, it has to go back to the school system within itself. I think because of the COVID virus, this is really introduced for us, especially in this part of the world, how, I don't want to say how far behind we are, but our lack of embracing technology from an educational standpoint. So I feel because of this now, schools are going to have to rethink their policies on kids bringing their own devices to school, how much technology access teachers are allowed to have, upgrading infrastructure in all of our schools. That's a key thing, upgrading infrastructure, because if you have 1,000 kids attending one school, you have to be able to provide for Wi-Fi access for teachers, for students, for parents. So even when we talk about business partnerships as well, a lot of this goes on in the United States, where schools are able to apply for grants from different technology related companies to help them with bridging in or filling in the financial gap with actually making all of these things a reality. So I think some basic things need to be in place. Some school partnerships with businesses have to happen. Schools have to come up with their own strategic plans because every school is different. So schools have to look at, from the top down, how is technology going to look and feel in the school, right? And once that plan is in place, then you could speak to, okay, how are we going to incorporate this into training our kids into knowing what to do? How are we going to incorporate this into training our teachers in knowing what to do? How are we going to inform our parent population? Because see, communication is key. And what technology does, the introduction of technology will challenge the current structure of any organization or any company. So when you incorporate technology in the mix, it will bring up any flaws in processes that you have. It will bring up any flaws in procedures, because technology seeks to help or bridge the gap between people, data, and the actual technology. So we have to have sensible plans, realistic plans. We have to have the funding, we have to have the training, and we have to have the flexibility to know that, hey, technology is not perfect. People are not perfect. So everything is not going to go perfect. So one solution for one school may not work for the next school. So it has to be catered to that particular school. So that's my 5 cents.
Your $5.
My $5 on that. But I think it's going to cause us to rethink the way in which we do things with education. It has to be a healthy balance. It can no longer be just paper and pencil. Our kids are not growing up in this type of age. And just speaking from my perspective as a university lecturer as well, when students come to my classes, I don't collect any paper. Everything is submitted online. And because we had to UV cut off classes and we had to revert online, it was easy for me. I just had to incorporate the live conferencing aspect because everybody already submitted online. They knew what to look for, different resources. So we have to find a healthy balance between the paper and the technology. So I think a lot of schools are going to have to give thought to that, and the government.
All right, and here we go. We have a question from Hyacinth Smith, and this one is for Ms. Middleton. How has the trial of Project Sand Dollar been so far, and when can we expect it to be introduced to New Providence? I know the answer to that.
Sorry, I forgot to unmute. So we are piloting Sand Dollar in both Exuma, and we started the Abaco pilot right before, I would say about a week before the country started its lockdown procedures for COVID. So before that, I would say that the pilot was going reasonably well. There are a lot of things we're doing in the background while the pilot is going on, including making sure the security is correct, engaging with our business partners, and really trying to engage the local communities there. So the launch for New Providence and the rest of the Bahamas is all dependent on the success of the pilot. We have some very key goals that we need to meet because you don't want to roll it out to the entire Bahamas and then something goes wrong. You know just how Bahamians go. It don't work one day, Lord knows that's the worst thing ever, right? It was working all these years before. So we just have some key things to shore up. But if we can get over this COVID delay, we can get back on track and we can meet our ultimate goal of nationwide rollout by December 2020.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Okay, now we are going to bounce over to Risay because there's an important question I want to ask Risay, and then we're going to get into one of the questions from Miss Charlton. Risay, I is the come. You must see, think I don't. You must see, think I stupid. Listen, I use social media in my classes. I used that to teach idioms in the classroom. What do you think the implications for social media integration within the school system would be, and how can persons create responsibly to fill that need?
I think that, let's use Facebook as an example. They've tried so many ways to start integrating communities. And I mean, we're talking about school, but this is just an example. It's called Workspace, and they're bringing people together and they're educating everybody. And it's almost like, it's like Microsoft 360 Office, but for Facebook. You know what I mean? And I think that's the direction that's going to start happening when you start integrating social media in schools. And plus, you know, social media is a part of our everyday lives, and it should be a part of curriculums. When I was in college or high school, this wasn't a thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's important for us to make sure that our children are just always updated, in the know, and we're not leaving anybody behind.
Perfect. I just want to shout out KFC and Craven, product placement right here, for being able to provide vouchers for our attendees. Good job, guys. Good job. Good job. And I have a question to all the ladies with careers in the ICT field. This is coming from Lachey. What did you study or major in the university or college, and how did that propel you into your career in ICT today? So Risay, I guess.
I guess I'll start since I'm a student. I actually have a bachelor's in communications and now working on my master's in marketing. Social media for business has a strong marketing component, and I worked in marketing for like forever, and it was just a natural tie-in.
Wonderful. So let's go to Symmetria.
So I studied computer science. Actually started with systems engineering, and I had a major change. I changed my major and I moved into computer science. I graduated with a bachelor's in computer science, and I have my master's in international business management. I think what propelled me into cybersecurity specifically is that I was a college recruit, and then I moved on to do some certifications in the field, and that's how I've been in this space for 14 years, I think.
Congrats. Okay, let's move on to Allison.
So my career path started in the IT field by accident. I was an accounts major, and in the transition from COB to the US, I decided there's no way I can do accounts for the rest of my life. Okay. So my parents arranged for me to get this job as a receptionist at this computer company. And within 3 months, I was promoted again, to the point that I had taken off, Sani, to the point that I was, before I left, was their training manager. So at that point, I was like, okay, let me give this computer thing a try. And I went off, studied software engineering, and had to return home. But when I returned home, there was really no place for software engineering. So I've bounced around. I've been in virtually every aspect of the field because I've been in the field for so long. So from web development, then I started working at Central Bank in system administration, SAMI, and then records management. And with Project Sand Dollar, I was given the opportunity to move into communications. So that's a long way to get where I am, but tech is still my heart, it's still my passion, and I don't think it's ever gonna go anywhere.
You are so very layered. Everybody on the layered, because I never would have thought that with a background in accounts and then turning around and going into engineering and software engineering, that it would be inside this person. This one person is so unassuming. I love it. But guys, it's just a bit of encouragement for you that learn as much as you can, because you never know when all of those skills are going to intersect. And now we have Zena.
Okay, my background, my bachelor's is in secondary, I'm a trained teacher, secondary education and computer information systems. And I received that at the College of the Bahamas, now the University of the Bahamas. And then I have my master's in management information systems. And I have a concentration in information security. So I have been afforded the opportunity to be in teaching and in business. I was a systems analyst at one point in Fort Lauderdale, but I guess my roads all led me back to education, although I was trying to come out of it. But I would say for me, I've always tried to push myself to be in positions or to go for jobs where I would be pushed. So even in university level, with my part-time jobs at work, I always tried to push and push until I got into an IT position, part-time working at the university. So that really helped me and it deepened my awareness of IT. And then even with coming home, and sometimes coming home, I don't want to say looks bleak, but you have your hopes are high. Oh yes, I'm going to get a job right away in my area of concentration. And that didn't happen right away for me. So I had to revert back to my first love, which was teaching. And it's afforded me the opportunities to, have been employed at some of the top schools, and my exposure has been a little bit different to be able to speak on a global scale as well. So I would say any opportunity that you have while you are in university to work part-time directly in your field is very important. Any opportunity you have to be mentored or to get a summer job, part-time job, even if you don't get paid for it at first.
Yes.
You still have to be able to take that experience and then you can apply it to whatever it is that you want to do. So it's helped me now. I do teaching. I do all kind of other things. I don't want to incriminate myself on here, but my main job is teaching. But it's opened up the door for me to also pursue my passions on the side as well. So look at things, degrees where you can do double things.
Well, I'm going to piggyback on that. And then we have 5 questions in the Q&A. And then we have another 2 questions in the actual webinar chat. So I'm just going to piggyback here. I have no degrees in information technology at all. I started out learning typing with my mom at Toya's Typing, and then I was trained without pay. So I had an internship with Carter Marketing and Island FM, which is where I learned radio production. I learned television production at my time at communications and through Ferretto Ferguson. So when you have opportunities to learn while on the job, you learn while on the job, you learn everything that you can, because they open up opportunities for certifications. When you're able to say, I've worked in this capacity, you can qualify to take a certified course or a certification course. And it's often a lot cheaper than pursuing a bachelor, master's, or associate's degree in the area that you're interested in. And it offers you the levity to do a number of different things. So I'm throwing that out there. Now, we're going to go to Nadine Charlton's question. Pop on over to the Q&A and then come right back here to the webinar chat. So Nadine is asking, please advise of how schools have collaborated to advance STEM. Additionally, which resources, educational scholarships are currently available to girls in grade 12? Anybody?
That's my question there. I would say I feel like we still have a far ways to go in terms of collaboration between public and private schools on certain things dealing with education. I can speak for me personally. I know that teachers, like, some of my educator friends who work in different areas, public school, private school, either have reached out to me on a personal level to collaborate to do something. So I'm going to make mention of one of my old students for Shadline, who's at Windsor Academy, who has reached out to me in the past about, collaborating on ideas for STEM and things of that nature. And he has a wonderful after-school program that he does. And I think Rotary helps with sponsoring that. But in terms of collaboration, I still feel that we are kind of, I want to say territorial in our sharing of information, our sharing of resources. I feel we have a lot to learn from our neighbors in the US because they are on all these different social media platforms, educators, especially Facebook. And, I go into certain Facebook groups and I get so much information just from scrolling for 5 minutes to help me with my craft. So I think the creation of platforms, like we have to use these online platforms for good. And we can't be afraid to share our information. So if Bodine, I know that, you are great with literature. I know that you are great with religious education, right? If I'm a religious education, I shouldn't feel any type of way about reaching out to you and asking you, Bodine, what instructional strategies have worked well for you? What after school programs or what extracurricular programs have you done with the kids, that has kind of helped? So I think sometimes too, we are a little bit tight-lipped, or we hold on to our information like, okay, if somebody steals it from us, okay, they're going to do it better than us or whatever. But see, you have to look at it this way. Once you've prepared the foundation for yourself, right? And once you give out an idea, nobody can implement that idea like you.
Absolutely. But not just that, but we also need to remember that some of the ideas, as unique as they may be, will require collaboration in order to make them better. And making them better is a benefit for everybody. So thank you so much, Zena. Here in the question and answer, we have, and this is from Ms. McKinney, I am 17 years old and are aware of the different certifications for cybersecurity. Should I start taking the test for these certifications now? And if so, what should I start with?
Okay, that's a really good question. But before I answer that question, I wanted to piggyback on the previous question. And so I'll just do that and then I'll get to your question shortly. So one of the things that I think needs to happen for schools to be more involved is that the community as a whole has to be involved. So my topic on capacity building means that collectively as a nation, we have to create strategies and policies surrounding this. How do we get that to happen? Us professionals, we need to put those things in place. So we have a role here to play in making sure that we help to guide some of those regulations. The other thing too that I wanted to mention is that myself and a few other professionals in information security, we are currently forming or instituting a professional body for cybersecurity professionals. And so I'm going to just put that plug in. So we will be sending out some information just so that, and this is really guided and geared toward building capacity in the space. We're doing something like musical chairs. And when it comes to hiring people, I've hired someone from someone else's shop and they took someone from me, and we don't have enough people to go around. So then we have to get to the sauce of building the capacity with our students, and this is from kindergarten up. So that's the question to piggyback on that. As far as certifications goes, I'll answer that by saying two things. So in preparation for a certification, there's a lot of free resources out there. Cybrary is a really good resource that will, one, give you an opportunity to study for almost any professional certification, and gives you lab, especially if you're a 17-year-old student in high school. You may not have all the financial resources to go fully on and take the certification. That's a really good step. The good thing about Cybrary, and they're not paying me, this is not an ad or anything, is that they also have career paths there for free. So it tells you this is a path, and these are some things that you should know or do in this path. If I were you and I'm starting out and I wanted to do some certification, I'll start at the entry level certs, and that would be your Security Plus and Network Plus. And the reason why I'm saying those together, because they go together. There's no cybersecurity without understanding network.
Absolutely.
So I would start there, but that's just the very baseline. I think when you start to get into looking at different career paths, you will find that there's tons of certification that you can look at. And I really suggest that you review sites like Cybrary and take a look at some of the suggested career paths there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. There's another question coming up for you, but I am going to bounce over to Ms. Middleton. Inquiring minds would like to know, if the virus goes away, will the sand dollar also be used internationally?
So whether the virus goes away or not, sand dollar is a digital representation of the Bahamian dollar. So we can't spend the Bahamian dollar anywhere except maybe like the flea market in Miami and the swap shop. So no, we will not be able to use it internationally without a third party conversion, something that the banks will have maybe to convert that in the back end that we will never see.
Okay, thank you so much. And this question is for Rise. It says, what advice would you give to high school students who seek to get their feet wet with social media content creation, especially for persons who feel like they need expensive equipment to begin? That's an excellent question.
It is a good question. And let me start off by saying I am cheap. All my stuff is cheap. Okay. I think the best thing to do is start with something that you like to do. So, or yes, something that you like to do. If you like to write, then start writing a blog. Or if you like to take pictures, start looking at really cool editing apps online. You know, everything is out there for you. Just key thing, start with what you like, because if you try to mimic somebody else, it's not going to work. It's important for you to be original.
Start with what you have. I'm so clear because I have my ring light set up, but I don't have editing suite. I have my Samsung phone. I have Viva Video, and when I'm ready to upgrade again, I'll be using Adobe Audition. But of course, you have to Audition or the Adobe suite because you have to pay for those, and they are expensive. So
they are.
You're not doing that unless you're generating income from it. All right, just saying. Now we have another question. This is for all of the ladies. What are your thoughts on having to participate in this panel using a digital platform? How do you see platforms like this being used more and more in our day-to-day lives, especially as we embrace social distancing? And what advice would you give to young people regarding safe and effective use of platforms like these?
Whew. Well, I think it makes sense that we did this on a digital platform. I mean, that it all came together really quickly. And I think now this whole pandemic has forced us to move forward. I mean, these things have been around for so long and we haven't taken advantage of it because I think a lot of the times we're very comfortable with the way things are. So having this, pushing us forward and utilizing these platforms, this is the best thing for me as a digital person. And be safe on it. Remember my etiquette rules.
Okay, as women, and this is for everybody, in careers dominated by men, what have your experiences been with the gender pay gap, and how can we as women make the change in the workplace? Good job. Because this is a lot.
I always have my 5 cents. And it's such a real question to be answered. I've worked in positions, without giving too much away, I've worked in positions with men who were very welcoming to me as a female in IT, who embraced my knowledge, who embraced my understanding or gleaning of knowledge, right? And then I've worked in positions where males were above me, right? They were not of the same nationality like me, right? But in the same, how can I phrase this properly?
Politically correct.
So basically, Okay, I don't want to be politically correct, right? But a lot of times too, in this country, in our country, so I'll keep it real. In this country, we sometimes have a lot of foreigners that are brought in to do jobs that Bahamians can do, right? And Bahamians will work under them to support them. So in some positions that I've been in positions where I might have known more than my boss at the time. And I think too, for a woman, you have to be so strong because depending upon how that man views you, if he views you as a threat to the organization or as an asset to the organization, it will depend on how he treats you. Because I remember a few occasions where I would present ideas to him or to that person in a smaller meeting. And then when I go in a bigger meeting, the ideas are presented as that person's idea.
Right.
And giving total credit to him as giving the ideas. So when something was asked of me at a later date to say, Zena, do you have any more ideas? I said, no, I don't have any more ideas to give. Because I feel too, there has to be a space where women are acknowledged for what we bring to the table. And I think I would have mentioned this in my presentation as well. Organizations that are focused on gender diversity do better with women because women help with, striking a balance within the organization with pushing for fairness among males and females. So I think like when we talk about the gender gap, it's real. It's an issue that you have to deal with. Some men may be in the same position as you and they may get more perks than you just because they're a guy. And it may be something that's unwritten.
Absolutely. And of course, it's not something that we don't see every single day where there are more opportunities to encourage men to come into the field, which include higher pay and more access to resources than women. And so considering that we are still shouldering a whole lot of the responsibility for the efficacy of our portfolios, there's a need to ensure that this pay gap is equaled. Okay?
Yeah.
And balance. Rise, this one is for you. How do you feel about children between the ages of 6 to 10 establishing social media platforms? Is this too early?
Ooh, 6 to 10. Honestly, I don't know what a 6-year-old could get out of social media. Actually, that's not true. I actually saw a 6-year-old on Instagram doing TikTok videos. And she was having just an amazing time. And this was just one avenue for her to express herself. So I don't think it's too young. I don't think that age is too young, as long as it's properly monitored.
Wonderful.
Yeah, because being out there, you're exposing your children to so much. So it's important to keep a strong hand on them.
And this question is from Rayshan Davis. What is your advice, and this is for everyone, what is your advice for Bahamian students who study abroad and desire to come home but struggle to find jobs in your field? Or should we stay in the US or other countries which ultimately strengthen them?
Do you guys mind if I went first? Okay, that is a great question. My advice is, and this is what I wish I had done, is to, once you're finished studying, get experiences abroad to benefit yourself home. Having that global experience gives you a little bit more of an edge and kind of puts you in the forefront with people who are hiring. I mean, that's what I did.
Perfect. Anyone else?
I can go next. So I would agree with Rise. Go ahead and stay over. Make sure you get as much experience as you possibly can, and then come back. It puts you in a better position to get hired. And it also gives you a greater deal of exposure. We're very limited in the Bahamas as to what we can and cannot do, what services are being asked for, what skills are being asked for. Right now, information security is something that we see as new, but really and truly, it's not that new, and it's been an emerging field for quite a number of years. But we wouldn't see that. We don't have the opportunity to. And so get as much exposure as you possibly can while you are away before you come back home. But coming back home is something we do need you to do.
Absolutely. And next?
I think networking is important when you are abroad at school. So what I mean by networking is that besides from what you're doing at school, you need to be involved in things that you are passionate about. So if it's like community service, even a church body, because guess what? You never know who is in a position to assist you. You
Right.
never know who has opportunities for mentorship. So I would say do not try to keep yourself isolated when you go abroad to school. And don't just wait on the school to offer you something. You have to be consistently searching for better opportunities. Like I said, when I was abroad in school, I kept on looking for, I got one job and then I dropped that job until I got to the next job that I needed to get to. Until until somebody wanted to take a chance on me and say, hey, okay, I'm going to mentor you inside this field. So you have to network. Networking is key. And especially when you come home as well, you have to network so you have a secure job, or else you're going to have to create your own job when you come home.
Correct. You know, we have persons in agriculture. I always think about Kentisha and Pop Stop, who couldn't find a job in her area, and so she decided that she was going to create use agricultural products to create Pop Stop, which is her brand, and now she is a lecturer on entrepreneurship, if I'm not mistaken, at BTVI, and it's an example of finding something within your niche that you can do and creating a space for yourself when it seems as though no spaces exist. We have about 7 more questions, so I'm going to give them to you guys, and then we are going to give some people some positive affirmations because we all need them as we go through this situation together. But the good thing is we have Zoom and we can talk to one another. Now, we have one word of commendation. Wow, you guys are phenomenal. I love how everyone was able to integrate their various studies to contribute to our community. That's coming in from Gurleen Joseph, and that's for all of you ladies. So congratulations. And we also have another question. This one here is from Miss Mavis Johnson Colley. Cousin, as you have observed the digital landscape locally over the past few weeks, what opportunity would you encourage our participants to look into and to consider?
Oh man. Can I just say that this is a great question. Recently, I just finished a hospitality and tourism management certification online, and it was free. There are universities, there are digital marketing courses that have now become free, and this is a great time to take full advantage of it. If social media or digital marketing is something that you're totally interested in, I recommend that you take full advantage of it.
Drop the link. Thanks. And that piggybacks onto another question. What are some of the top engineering universities and colleges globally? I think that one is for Ms. Middleton or even Ms. McKinney primarily, but anyone can answer it.
So I'll just give one major one is the University of California at Berkeley. That is huge when it comes to all aspects of IT. MIT is another name that we hear quite often, but there are some other specialty schools that are dedicated only to technology and emerging technology. So, and any brief, I guess, search will return some, but Sammy has some more recent experience than I do. I was in university before most of our participants were born.
All right, this is a TikTok question. Just yesterday, I read about TikTok being a security risk and gathering every conceivable piece of information on its users. Do you have any feedback on this?
That is the risk you run when you take part in any app, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. That's just the risk involved.
just to let everybody know, those of you who love to send videos via WhatsApp, there's a thing called metadata, which also includes the location at which you decided to take this video, and it is transferred every single time that you transfer that through WhatsApp. So you might want to be careful with the information and the videos and the photos that you send out through those means, and you also want to check the settings on your phone. Okay, now I am going to take the last 3 questions. There is one question here on education, but it's a little bit out to the side, so we'll answer that if we do. As a matter of fact, it's 2 that they're a little bit out to the side, so we'll answer them if we have the time. We have about 7 minutes, ladies, and here we go. We need to, this one here is for Ms. Middleton. Will tourists be able to use the sand dollar?
Yes, they will. They can use cash. If you can use cash, you can use sand dollar.
Okay, perfect. Next question to all of the ladies. Was a career in technology always what you wanted? And if it wasn't, what was your dream job? And I think that we've answered this within the panel and to some degree through the presentations, but I'll give you an opportunity to give your 20 seconds.
It definitely wasn't a dream job. I didn't know such a job existed. My dream job at the time was to be on Broadway and sing in the Lion King.
Whoa!
But it has become my dream job, and I can't imagine doing anything else.
Wonderful. Anybody else?
I know for me, I always wanted to be a lawyer, and even sometimes I'm joked about it until this day. So I don't know, probably later on in my life, I may pursue it. But yeah, but being a lawyer, I always wanted to do that. I love law.
Clara Taylor Bell says this panel was super awesome. Okay, and let's see if I have missed anything. No, not from the webinar chat. So we're going to turn down just a little bit on the webinar chat. We have 4 minutes. This question is for Ms. Dean. It says, educational wise, yeah, you're gonna.
That's right.
What is your opinion on the canceling or postponing of the national examinations?
Trying to cause me to lose my job. No, I will answer generally and look towards what has been happening worldwide, right? And then I'll try to make it quick. So a lot of the examinations, like even when I look at the IB exams, certain Cambridge exams have been canceled already just because of the COVID virus, and because a lot of these things are done and they're paper-based, right? A lot of schools in the States have opted to not give students like a grade, like basically they're gonna get like a pass or fail grade. So I don't know, I think the ministry is still waiting to see how things are going to flow in order for them to actually pursue the national exams. But I feel too, it's gonna throw a lot of things off, the regular school year off, the upcoming school year off as well. So I guess it will be interesting to see how that is organized, even from a public school point of view and from a private school point of view, because I think it's gonna, I don't know, it's gonna have us juggling as to what is going to be happening with school.
Okay, and we have just about 3 minutes left. There is a question about students that brag and need to be humble, but that's not exactly the question that we need for this forum. And we have 2 minutes left. Last question is for Mr. Merritt. What additional advice would you give to young people who want to build their social media platforms, but do not want to run the risk of attracting possible predators?
Attracting possible predators. Listen, it's all about how you're putting yourself out there. You know what I mean? You have to be conscious about everything. You have to be conscious about what you're wearing. You have to be conscious about what you're saying. And what you're putting out there attracts the people that you want, if that makes sense. So my advice would be just be always self-aware.
There you go. Well, here's what we're going to do. There are a few questions about international scholarship links. We're going to ask you to please put them in the Facebook. Go to the Girls in ICT 242 and drop them in the Facebook chat so that they can be directed to the persons that would best suit the questions, and any assistance that is available can be rendered to you through there. The last 2 words of affirmation, Miriam Curtis says, great job, ladies, so refreshing in this pandemic. Proud of you, blessings and good success in each of your career paths. And you have one from my colleague Indira Burrows-Roll. This is an awesome session and has opened my eyes to the new realities of the world as it relates to technology. Good job, ladies. And Miss Johnson Colley, thank you so much. Yes, I appreciate you. Hyacinth Smith says, I thoroughly enjoyed this live panel. You ladies are great examples of successful women in ICT. Thank you for sharing your experiences. I am sure you have inspired many today. So ladies, I'm gonna give you all 25 seconds and a 5-second overtime to give a word of affirmation to all of our ladies, all of our sisters in STEAM and STEM, and our social media mavens in the making right here. Risay.
Sorry. Words of affirmation. Oh my goodness. Gone are the days of the internet nerds, and here are women of power that are creative, that are embracing themselves, that are embracing what was once the man's world. It's ours for the taking, and I can't wait to see where you guys go from here.
Let's go, Miss Zena.
Bodhi, this is so hard. There's so much to say. But I would say, be the best version of yourself. Don't allow anyone to tell your story. You tell your story. Think for yourself 30 years down the line, and then you'll see what you have to do in the now to secure your space in IT. So be the best version of yourself, and don't make any apologies for your strengths in your field area of IT.
There you go. And Allison, you're up.
I just want to let all the ladies know that the big thing for us is to support each other. Where we have to have each other's backs at all possible times. We have to look out for each other in this field. It is a difficult field to navigate as a woman, but there are more of us breaking through.
There you go. Ladies, and I'm going to leave you with what I got to tell y'all. First, you are smart, you are intelligent. Yes, there is space for you. Start with what you have. You don't need everything that you see everyone has. I know Sawyer Boy started out with a cell phone and some creativity, so get it done by any means necessary. Look up all of the opportunities, go and do your in-services, or go and, be an intern for somebody that you want to learn from, because those internships are valued at more than money. So for everybody out there, we want to say thank you so much. And now I am going to shout out our sponsors. First, we're going to start off with KFC and Craven for providing meal vouchers for all of our attendees. I want to thank our partners, BTC, Alive, BPL, Rev, IRCA, and ZNS. And thank you to Create Serendipity for the virtual experience and the conference. Be sure to hashtag us. Please take your screenshot of your Zoom screen now and hashtag us Girls in ICT Day 242. And of course, if you put any TikToks or any of the other social media forums that you're able to get your creativity out with, tag us Girls in ICT Day 242 as well. I also want to say thank you so much to BPL for doing such a great job at so we can stay connected. And I want to say thank you to you ladies, you amazing ladies, our panelists, Zena Hutchison on ICT 101, Risay Demerit on social media netiquette, Allison Middleton on Project Sand Dollar, and cybersecurity capacity and building it with Miss Sumitra McKinney, just Media'd you, Sumitra McKinney. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and to all of our partners, to the entire committee and all of the creatives that have made this possible. We want to say thank you. So I'm gonna leave you with the sponsors again, but you can start signing out if you like. Just saying. We have BTC, Alive, BPL, Rev, and IRCA. Mavis Johnson Colley is inside here saying, listen, you just make sure you get everything. This is what people don't see. Like, we have screens everywhere and information coming from all over the place. And this is what we do as Girls in ICT. It's our day. Continue to shine. Be fantastic. We love you. Thank you all so much.